This fall semester, St. Michael's College introduced a new residential living environment in Cashman Hall, which has been named under the program GEAR. In this building, both American and international students live in the suites together with the goal to embrace each other's cultures. Could too many Americans living in global housing hurt the development of this program? Braden Kerwin reports on this story.
Environmental studies and Spanish.
Funny. That's actually great.
Events hosted in Cashman Hall, such as International Coffee Hour. It's important to have interaction between both American students and international students from other countries.
Before that, I buy it for those last time. Oh, that's so bad.
Coffee Hour has a comfortable mood to it. For international students, this is a perfect opportunity to talk to an American student, to get to know more about their culture. I wonder, however, outside of these events, does the same type of interaction occur? I ask resident director Stephanie Lewis if the housing placement helps these types of interactions.
The way personalities work together and the way a lot of friendships are formed. Our main goal was to create a balance between American students and international students, and then from there see what the building would be like and see what events were produced from such combinations.
Multicultural Affairs Assistant Director Carrie Leach explains to me the difference between this year's program and the previous year's program, Ambassador Housing.
The program of the Global Experience Academic Residence Hall. So all of Cashman Hall is the GEAR program. And it is much different than last year's Ambassador Housing in the fact that we now have a whole building where students are now immersed in a cultural environment.
Over 80 undergraduate students, with some of these students being international students, are living in an environment with 45 other international students involved in the academic English programs.
Last year we had 10 ambassadors who were our U.S. national undergraduate students living with international students within that program. So as you can imagine, living in a building with many more students rather than a couple, maybe 4 suites, we're going to be able to do a lot more.
I'm sitting down with Brianna Kress in the new Global Housing Building, Cashman Hall, the first building dedicated to international living.
Last year I was an ambassador to the international student, and it really allowed me to get to know the people and their cultures, and we formed great friendships. But this year I'm living with basically all Americans, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be immersed into the international community.
Ideally, we wanted every room in the building to be part of the GEAR program. However, there are 1 or 2 suites that are predominantly American students.
Ben Peters, a junior this year, explains to me how he did not apply for international housing, yet found himself getting a dorm here after being told he couldn't live in his single on North Campus.
Told me that my options were if I wanted to be on main campus to either live in Handy's across the street, or they had open rooms in Cashman, or I was going to have a roommate up north. I contacted them. They said they had 1 room left in Cashman that they needed to fill, so I ended up filling that room. I really like my international roommates. I think it's great to get to know something about their cultures. Overall, though, I feel like they're the only ones that I'm connected to. I don't know anything about anybody else except my international roommates who I live with.
Although there are more Americans living in Cashman Hall than expected, international student Sylvania Lascano sees this as a positive because it can help bring international students into the community even better by having more Americans to interact with.
If you need to know where Founders is, he can take you or she can take you. Or like, let's say that sit down with her and have lunch so you can meet her friends and you can involve yourself into the community, because the only way you learn English is just talking to Americans. I learned that by force and I think that's the only way. So I think that even more Americans should live here.
Reporting for The Defender, this has been Braden Kerwin.